Hey, what's going on? Keys here from Sports Vibes TV, and our New York Knicks are off to their first 2-0 start in 9 years. So we're going to be talking about the game tonight. Knicks went out there and beat the brakes off the Orlando Magic, 121-96, and there's going to be a few key takeaways I'm going to talk about in this video, and then I'm going to give you my most valuable player. But if you watch the game, you already know who that is going to be. So if you like this video, make sure you smash that like button. Also, make sure you're subscribed and you got notifications turned on. That way you're notified whenever I drop new content. Now, the biggest takeaway, or the first takeaway I want to discuss, is the way the Knicks were shooting. You know, we had a historical performance tonight. The Knicks went out there and we broke our record for most three-pointers made in a game. Went out there and shattered the record. It was originally 20. We went out there and dropped 24 three-pointers, and that's on 54 three-point shots. Originally, the Knicks last season shot about 30 threes per game, and I wanted us to get to around 35, 36 three-pointers per game. I think that would have been a nice area for the Knicks to hit in terms of a nice target for the Knicks to try to achieve this season. But they're saying to hell with that. They said if we're getting good looks, we're going to chuck them. And we did pretty good tonight. We shot 44% on 54 threes. That's 24 total threes made. Once again, like I said, that is a record. And to be watching history, I think that was phenomenal. I was able to relax, watch the game, and be able to really, enjoy the moment, because it was something that a lot of people were hinting in the preseason, looking at the Knicks, and the fact that we were able to go out tonight and actually achieve that is pretty good, pretty dope, because I think this is not going to be the first time we break this record. If we're going to go out there and shoot 50 some odd threes a game, I could see us getting 25, 26. Now, if you look at this team, when it comes to the three-point shots, Fournier, he was doing his thing. He went 4-9 from three. Kemba Walker, he started the game off on fire. He knocked down his three threes in the initial quarter, the first quarter. Went 3 of 5 for the game. Quick found his shot. He had a few bad looks or bad decisions in terms of shot selection in the first half, but second half he came out on fire. He was 4 of 8 for the game. Derrick Rose has completely changed up his style of play. I won't say changed up. He's added upon what he's able to do out there on the court. We normally knew Derrick Rose as a penetrator, a slasher, someone with an uber athletic point guard, and now as he's gotten older and his athleticism starts to slip a little bit because he still has that burst out there, you're starting to see him become a deadly three-point shooter. With the Knicks, I believe his three-point shot was right around 40% during his stint with us, and he's come out this season and shot the ball from three pretty decent. So far between preseason and the regular season, he shot 4 for 6 from three in this game. Burks also was a little worried about him to start the season. He didn't have a great game against the Celtics, but he came out tonight, was 4-7 from three. That second unit, I was on a live stream with George from Into the Knicks Verse, and I talked about how the second unit, they were kind of struggling with finding their shot. And today, it was the complete opposite. Quick, Burks, Rose, all were phenomenal today out there with that second unit. Obi, he was also a factor, shooting the three, 2 of 4. And Julius Randle, even though he only shot 2 of 6, which is about 33%, you would say is pretty decent for a big man. But when you look at what his teammates were shooting, you would say it was a rough night shooting the three. But if Julius Randle's going to go out there and shoot 2 for 6, you'll live with it if he was able to contribute in other areas of the game. And that's something we'll get talked to a little bit later. That's a hint as to who the MVP might be. The next thing I want to discuss is the ball movement. The Knicks had 34 assists. Now, coming into this game, I thought that the Knicks had to continue to move the ball around in order to get good looks. And the ball movement is what contributed a lot to the solid three-point shooting. The guys were able to pass the rock around, get good looks on the perimeter. And even if they weren't passing the ball around the perimeter, they were able to penetrate, collapse the defense, and then kick it out and find somebody for an open look. So if the Knicks are going to continue to move and play unselfish basketball out there, they're going to be difficult to guard. Because if you're looking at this team now, if you looked at how the Magic played us, They would try to force Fournier off his spots, but he was able to dribble, penetrate, and find teammates out there. He had 3 assists. Julius Randle, once again, that's Julius Randle's game. Whenever they tried to help, he was able to move the rock and create out there. I think that's been a big plus to Julius Randle's game, his unselfishness during his first season. He was, I won't say super selfish, but he wasn't really looking to get his teammates involved as much as Knicks fans would have liked. But as we've seen in this game, had 7 assists, was finding his teammates for open looks, had a couple good passes in transition to get the break started, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Derrick Rose as well with that second unit. He was able to find Quick and Burks on a couple nice 3-point shots. Also, he was able to connect with Obi on give Obi a couple easy baskets in transition. Fournier has a 3 assists. Quick, he was doing his thing. He had 3 assists as well. But I think what I really want to talk about to close this video out, or at least to close the biggest takeaway section, is the fact that this team had 24 fast break points. Now, if you look at last season, we only averaged 8.9 fast break points. And if you look at the team we have now and what we were able to do out there, we were able to lock up the Orlando Magic. The Orlando Magic, I have the actual box score up. We held them to 33 of 83 from the field, which is 40%, and we held them to 17 of 43, which is about rounded up to 40% from the field. I would have liked to keep their 3-point percentage a little bit lower. It was lower in the first half. We were able to really lock them up. I think we had them hovering below 30%, both field goal and 3-point percentage in that first quarter. And I think that first quarter, when we punched them in the mouth, they really couldn't recover. They tried to recover in the third quarter, but Tibbs wasn't having it. Tibbs made sure that he got everybody in line to shoot. Tibbs even called the timeout with like 2 minutes to go, and we were up 30 with the third stringers in. So you know how Tibbs is. Tibbs was going to be Tibbs, and that's pretty much him in a nutshell. If he's not liking what he's seeing out there on the court, he doesn't care if it's garbage time or not. He's going to call timeout, and he's going to make sure you hear about it. And I think they said it in the broadcast. Those are learning moments. Those are instructional moments. Like I said, so back to the defense creating offense. One thing I like about this team is the fact that we look phenomenal in transition. You look at Obi, you look at Mitchell Robinson. We were able to find him in transition. He was, I don't know if he was cherry picking, but in the fast break, he ended up under the rim, and we were able to find him for a nice, easy dunk. Like I said, Obi in transition, Quick in transition. Derrick Rose, a majority of Derrick Rose's assists were him leading the break. And I think if you look at that second unit, if we get them out there moving up and down the court, there are not too many second units out there that can really match with us or keep up with us. We got too much firepower with our second unit, and that's one of the bonus or one of the strengths of this team, our depth. And if we're going to continue to play a brand of basketball with the second unit that puts Obi, Quick, Alec Burks in the best positions to succeed, then I think we're going to have a lot of games where you see Tibbs look down at the end of the bench and put the third unit in. Because if we're playing defense like that and we're knocking down, 40 some odd percent of our threes, and the amount and the volume of threes we're taking, 54 threes, made 24 of them. That's something that a team, especially a young team like the Orlando Magic, they're not going to be able to withstand. Now, the Knicks had a phenomenal game, and I'm looking for us to build upon this win. I think so far what I've seen from this team in the first 2 games, we saw against the Celtics, the team give up a lead, but be able to persevere and still eke out the W in double overtime. And now in this game, we're seeing a team that is clearly the better team and was able to kind of break the spirit or break the will of the Orlando Magic. And that's the sign of a good team, a team that won, like I said, in that Celtics game, not going to be demoralized and give up a lead. Give up a win that they should have, been victorious in. And we're not going to be a team where we're going in against inferior competition and allowing them to run with us. When you're looking at program building and you're looking at the Knicks and what we need to really take that next step, I think those are two signs that this is a good and borderline great team. It's just going to have to depend on this team continuing to gel, which I don't think is going to be an issue. If you listen to the post game, IQ said those guys love playing with each other. They're starting to build good chemistry both on and off the court. I mean, if you look at Julius Randle and Evan Fournier, I'm liking the chemistry they're starting to build. If you look at last season, not Evan Fournier. If you look at last season, Julius Randle and Reggie Bullock started to develop a nice little two-man game, and I think we're starting to see that show itself with Julius Randle and Evan Fournier. You're seeing them in pick and roll situations like we saw tonight, also with dribble handoffs. You're seeing them try to find ways to get each other involved and get each other in the right spots. And if we're going to be a team that's going to be led by Julius Randle and Evan Fournier every night, then that's something I'll live with. That means Evan Fournier is producing above and beyond his contract and what he's being paid. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from this team to start. I want to temper my expectations a little bit, knowing that the Orlando Magic really, they're different in their program building. It's a new coach, very young team. This is the type of game where you look at it as a Knicks fan and you're saying this is a game that the Knicks should go out there and try to win handedly, because I don't think the Magic really have the talent right now to really compete with us. And you factor in the fact that they're young and they're trying to figure things out themselves. Remember, as Knicks fans, we've been there before. We understand how it is when you have a young team trying to learn to play together. And we, at one point, were that team that, other opposing teams would look at and circle and say, all right, this is going to be a game where we can try to get right. Luckily for us, we don't have to get right because Tom Thibodeau is coaching every game like it's a playoff game. So we're already in a good groove, and we're already hitting the ground running. So I'm extremely excited about what I've seen so far. Now, when it comes to the most valuable player of the game, it has to be Julius Randle. 21 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. My guy was plus 24, which is second best on the team. Of course, Derrick Rose had the best plus minus when you look at how he was, playing both with the starters when he was in and with the second unit. But Julius Randle was doing his thing. He shot 56% from the field, and, he shot 33% from three, which we said earlier. But that's nitpicking if you're going to complain about somebody shooting 33%. Nothing crazy, nothing terrible. I wouldn't even call that a bad shooting night. One shot would have went down, he'd have shot 50% from three, and then we would have had a completely different, or we would have had it would have been a 25 3-point record and 3 points made in a game for the Knicks. So I said earlier in this video, I'm confident that the Knicks could go out there and break this record again this season. You let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think the Knicks also have a chance of going out there and breaking this 24 made 3-pointers in a game record? Also, let me know what your thoughts are about the game down below. Once again, I'm Keith, host of Sports Vibes TV. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back on again Sunday with a live stream with my guy Foxy. So make sure you guys tune in. I'm out. Peace.